Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem, breaking down last night's 8-game NBA slate. If you know me, you've been watching the show for quite some time. You understand that 8 games are where I feel most comfortable. I love the 8-game slates. For some reason, I just tend to fare a lot better on those 8-game slates. My cores are a lot sharper. The players around them are usually better. Didn't have a really great night personally in a sweatshop. Was at the barbershop all day long, getting things together, making sure I can get everything out to you guys. And I really didn't get to invest in a lot of lineups. I had a particularly small buy-in, but I doubled it, which is always nice. Anytime you can double your buy-in as strictly a tournament player the way I am, that's always a really good thing. So I'm very happy about tonight. But how about the sweatshop? Y'all killed it tonight. Y'all killed it tonight. The sweatshop went motherfucking ham. The core 4 was popping. I'm talking about it all worked tonight. It was a really great night for a lot of you all in the sweatshop. I was saying, well, hey, I'm gonna shout you out, dude. But before you knew it, I was telling everybody in the sweatshop that I was gonna shout them out. I mean, Cats got to the money, went turkey ham. C. Smith 80, awesome night out for him. Took down first place in the NBA 9K Fast Break single entry tournament. You see that? He's playing single entry tournaments. That means the Sharks don't have 150 lineups in there. They've got one. They got one shot, just like he did. And guess what? His one shot was better than all of their one shots because he took it down. First place, C. Smith 80, won 1,400 with a 332.25 DraftKings score using the Core 4 system. I cannot take credit for this man's success, but he got the logo. Win for the sweatshop is a win for him. It's definitely a win for me. So many other cats, man. Lil Sooner took down first place in the 100K Monday Night Special. Won four stacks, won 4,000 with the logo up top. You're looking at the logo. That's awesome. 331 DraftKings points was that score. Mando 345, 334.53 took down second place with a really nice score there. We also Mr. Polite got to it. Big Checks got to it. Saint 3030 got to it with a 359.8 score on FanDuel. So the Core 4 is actually usable on FanDuel. I just can keep going through. There's so many people that just really got to the money. Camin 2, 357.4 on FanDuel, 336, 333, 325, 323. This dude stuck to that core and he played him and mixed and matched, and he took so many different places in these tournaments, man. Really nice. T2 Xavier, 333.25 DraftKings points, a core 4 lineup. I'm looking at it right here. Awesome stuff from these guys, man. Junius 84, 351 DraftKings points in the NBA 15K Hot Shot 3-entry max tournament. 3-entry max tournament. These guys are using their heads. Where you put your money is so important, bro. You don't have to always try to take down the huge tournaments. You can get into 3 entries. You can get into single entries. These guys, man, the sweatshop is fucking lit right now, and I'm getting a little emotional because we're winning money. We're winning money, and we're doing it, man. And the Sharks are looking up at us. There's going to be a meeting about the sweatshop at some point, and they're going to have to try to stop us. Because if y'all keep doing what y'all doing, this shit is going to be crazy. Let's go ahead and jump into a quick. Wait a minute. Devin Rams, 327. Still haven't forgot about him. Man, there's just so many cats here. I'm just scrolling through this. Man. All right, let's go ahead and jump into a quick Core 4 review. You guys know, if you follow the show, every day I try to do it around 2, 3 o'clock. I wait as long as I can to get as much injury news or late breaking news as I can get after midday, and we release the Core 4. Now, the whole precept behind this is we know that we get 50,000 DraftKings salary. FanDuel, we get 60,000. My goal with my Core 4 plays is to get me 6x value from half of the lineup. 4 guys. I want to get 4 guys that are going to give me 6x value. And what I do is I work around these guys and the rest of my lineups. Every lineup is not going to have all 4 of them in them. Every lineup is not going to have 3 of the 4 in them. But I'm going to have at least 2 of them in every lineup. And that's what we did tonight. And that's why a lot of cats were getting to the money, because they were all in on the core 4 today. Let's go ahead and jump into the actual plays from the core 4. We're going to start with a play that I really liked. I knew the game was going to be high in tempo, very high-paced game. It was the Washington Wizards playing the Houston Rockets. This is a guy that I really thought the ownership was kind of going to be low on. So it's Martin Gortat at 6.4K, 8% in ownership. He goes out and gets you 36.5 DraftKings points, right around that 5.7x, I believe. Pretty good showing we saw from him. The next guy, I had to have a late night hammer. I needed somebody in the later games that I could really trust. You know how I feel about Klay Thompson. Even in blowouts, he definitely gets to run at 6.6K, so he was fairly decently priced. 14% ownership. He scores 36.75 DraftKings points. An excellent game we saw from Klay Thompson. The next play was probably my favorite play on the core 4. This is somebody who I was on all day. I was on him last night. Like, as soon as I saw the matchup, I saw the point total, everything about this game screamed to me that this guy should be a core 4 play. And he led all DraftKings scores at 8.7K. Jimmy Buckets went out and got my NBA vote, 25% ownership. He scores 85 DraftKings points. Now, he did some shit like this last year, too. So this guy has this in him. It's just the funny thing is, you know, if the Dwayne Wade news breaks after lock, I guarantee you Jimmy Butler's ownership is almost cut in half. And we are sitting so pretty if that happens. So 25% ownership. A lot of people were on him. 1/4 of all DraftKings and FanDuel players were rostering Jimmy Butler, and it proved to really help you get you to that 300 mark and really push you over the cash line. Excellent game we saw from Jimmy Butler. The last play in the core 4 was somebody who, you know, I wanted to have another guy in the late night, and I just liked him. I just loved the spot. I loved where he was. I kind of toed the line between understanding if we were going to see Chris Paul, because I knew if Chris Paul wasn't playing, if I knew for sure Chris Paul wasn't playing, I had to fire him up, and that's why the core 4 came out kind of late, because this particular play all hinged on if we were going to see Chris Paul or not. Once I got it was a definite that Chris Paul was not going to be playing, core 4 goes out. Eric Bledsoe, 7.6 DraftKings points, 8% ownership. Not a lot of people were on him at all. Virtually a lot of us in the sweatshop were on him. Went out and dropped 50 DraftKings points. An excellent game we saw from him. And this was off a bad shooting night. If this dude actually shoots his average, he's scoring almost 70 DraftKings points, and we're walking away with way more. But we ain't going to fuss about it. We're glad that we got to the money the way we did. This core 4 was targeted at 5x value, 5 times what we paid for him. We paid 29.3K for the totality of the core 4. It was kind of expensive, but I just liked it that much. At 5x value, it would have brought us back 146.5 DraftKings points. We wouldn't have been pissed with them, but we would have wanted to see more. 6x value was 175.8 DraftKings points. That was really our target. Well, this core 4 went out and brought you 208.25 DraftKings points. So with 4 players, we were a third of the way to the 300 club. This core 4 got plus 32.45 DraftKings points, hit 7.1x value, an excellent showing from the core 4, and I'm really glad that a lot of guys used them and got to get them in their lineups, and we also got to the money tonight. Now, we're going to jump into our feature 4 players of the night. These are the most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the Facebook VIP, on Twitter. Just these are the guys who we really had something to say about. We're going to start with the Who Dat, scoring all the points over there, player of the night. It's going to be Trevor Booker. Now, we talked about him on last night's show. We, DFS players, we know there's more to the game than just stats. We understand that sometimes guys just want to play. And these are all world-class athletes. I guarantee there can be a lot better performances from guys depending on how much they get up for a particular game. And we all thought that Trevor Booker at 5K and 10% in ownership was going to really want to get up to play against his former team, the Utah Jazz. He went out and scored 42.25 DraftKings points and was featured on the perfect lineup. So Trevor Booker, really nice game from him, and that is why he is the who dat scoring all them points over there player of the night. The next play is going to be the how did I miss that play tonight? And this is going to be really wild when I tell you who this is. How did I miss this guy? How the fuck, Maurice, Mo, how the fuck did you miss this dude? This is your boy. This is your boy. You roster him when everybody calls you stupid, and you missed out on him tonight. And that I did. And that goes to my main man, Kimba. 7.9K, 9% in ownership. Nobody believed in him tonight. And he went out and scored 61.75 DraftKings points. An excellent game from my boy Kimba away from the Beehive. And that is why you are tonight's How Did I Miss That Play of the Night? Going back to the well with a name that we just already talked about, this is going to be the heat check player tonight. It can go to no one other than Jimmy Butler. We talked about him already. Jimmy Buckets got my NBA vote tonight with 8.7K, 25% ownership, scores 85 DraftKings points. You are tonight's heat check player tonight. The next play we are talking about is that one motherfucker. There's always one motherfucker. Even on a night where the core four hits hard as fuck, and if you had this dude on your lineup and you still had the core four, the rest of them carried his old snowflake ass. But we definitely expected more from this one motherfucker. And we're talking about Otto Porter at 6.1K. You robbed us. You went out and stole that. 18% ownership. And you another motherfucker. See, I always get on people's ass that ownership is higher than the DraftKings points, man. Y'all got to stop this shit. This got to end somewhere. There's no way that more motherfuckers should believe in you than points you bring them back. That's fucking ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You ran off on the plug. Otto Porter, tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake with your old snowflake ass, and we ain't gonna roster your ass again until Bradley Beal legs start acting up again and he get the old stress fracture and can't play. We know that's what fucked you up. We know Bradley Beal is better than you, but he just stay hurt. As soon as Bradley Beal get hurt again, we're going to be back on your ass like shit on a shingle. Now, let's go ahead and jump into my best DraftKings lineup. And there's a couple reasons why I do this. Number one, I want you to trust me, man. Word. I want you to look at me and say, this dude right here, this is an honest ass motherfucker. He ain't telling us to play people that he's not playing. When he drops his player pool, I'm going to see cats that's in the player pool. Because you go to the other major sites, and the same motherfuckers they tell you to roster all day long are not the people that they're rostering. Trust me, I've done the research. They're trying to throw you off. It's all misdirection. Let's go ahead and check out my best DraftKings lineup. I'm going to pull up right here. Now, I had quite a few lineups hit the 300 club and some right on the fringe. It was a really good night, man. We trusted the process in the core four, and we're going to hit on our core. The projection is 4 of 10 slates. So we look at a cat like C. Smith, or the guy that pulled a 1400. Look at a guy like that, right? Now, with the win he had tonight, he paid for a subscription. That's done. That's over with. And 4 out of 10 slates we are going to hit. Our core is going to hit. And that can be from 3, 4, 5, 10. In his case, 100, 150, 200 times his buy-in. That's why we do this. And that's why we stick to our bankroll management. If you won tonight, I know you're in the sweatshop, you're feeling good, you won some money, stick to your bankroll management. Do not invest more than 10% of your bankroll. You don't have to go hard. It's an 82-game season. I want you to be here with me the entire season. 10% is the rule. If you don't like the slate as much, and that's when you really like the slate. If you really like the slate, 10%. If you don't like it as much and you're leaning more towards other people and what you've been hearing and you're not exactly completely sure about everybody on your roster, drop it down to 5%. It's a very long season. Plenty of money for us to go ahead and win. Let's go ahead and jump to my best DraftKings lineup. This was definitely a core 4 roster, and I'm going to tell you where the throw off came at in this lineup. All right, let's go ahead and adjust this here so we can see this perfectly. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's a name on this list that is fucking ridiculous. I've got K. Felder in this lineup. This is a K. Felder lineup. Now, this started as strictly a core 4 lineup. We had Jimmy Butler. we had Klay Thompson, we had Jimmy Butler, we had Eric Bledsoe at the top here, and of course we had Martin Gortat playing center. But when the news broke that Kyrie was not going to be playing, I fell into the trap. I gotta get me some LeBron. I gotta get me some LeBron. Pour him all over me, baby. But I didn't go super ham. A couple lineups. So I pay all the way up in this spot from LeBron, of um, which takes me off of Eric Bledsoe. Now, in that, the two guys I said I was not moving off was Clay and Jimmy. I wasn't moving off Clay and Jimmy. So it takes me off of Bledsoe. I go down to Felder and down to Tristan Thompson since I had LeBron. I'm going to try to make a little mini stack out of this. And I like Vic Oladipo too, but I had to find somebody who I thought in the later games could really, you know, get that 6x for me. And that proved to be Danilo Gallinari. He had a really nice game out. 39.5 DraftKings points for him. LeBron kind of let us down. He didn't snowflake, but he only got 47.75 DraftKings points. Not an excellent showing. Tristan Thompson was the lone snowflake on this roster, 14.75. That was not good at all. Aaron Gordon beefed up on him and really had a great game at 41. Jimmy Butler, of course, did his thing. Kay Felder surprisingly scored 16.25 DraftKings points. Now, I know Jordan McRae was starting, but I hate Jordan McRae. And I remembered in the preseason, Kay Felder was a really good player going to the basket, and I thought that would be his role, and it proved to be. So he had a fairly decent game for his price point. It was only 30, 31, 3,200, so that was cool. This lineup netted me a total of 314.25 DraftKings points, so it was a really nice showing for this lineup, and that was my best DraftKings lineup on the evening. The rest of them were 290, 295, 294, all the way around 290. So let's go ahead and pull up the player pricing for tomorrow, just so we have it already on the screen so we can transition easily into the next phase of the show. But before we get into that, I've got to do a very quick recap of last night's games. And the reason why we do this is because we've got to know where we're going if we're going to know where we've been, if we're going to know where we're going. And maybe you're not like me. Maybe you can't find the time. I feel like there's 29 hours in my day, and I watch every NBA game. I cannot stress to you how important that has been to my development as a DFS player, setting aside that time to actually watch game film, because that's where you're going to get the subtle nuances and the tendencies and the twists and turns of the actual game flow and the game players, the guys in the game. So let's go ahead and jump into a quick recap of last night's games. We're going to start with the first game on the slate. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder going to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. This was a really competitive game, a really nice game, probably one of the more entertaining games on the evening. We're going to start on the Oklahoma City side, where Steven Adams had 20 points, 8 boards, and 2 assists to go with 1 steal. Pretty nice game from him. Westbrook had 30 and 7 to go with 6 assists and 3 steals. We thought he was going to have that triple-double capability in this game, but he fell just a few items short of that. We also saw a decent game from Vic Oladipo. Very nice game from him. 18 and 5 to go with 4 assists and 1 steal. And with Depot on the floor, this is definitely a better team. And I think it does take a little bit. I don't think we're going to have, with Depot out there, I don't think we're going to see all of those crazy Westbrook's games like that anymore. And I think the price should be coming down on him at some point in the near future. The Milwaukee side of the ball, Giannis Antetokounmpo had a really nice game. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. Pretty good game from him. We saw Jabari Parker for 41 minutes, and he had 19 and 6 to go with 2 assists. Now, he shot 7 of 17 from the field, 41%. That is not like Jabari Parker. He's more going to the basket around the boards type of guy. So hopefully we're going to see a turn for the better when it comes to his next game out. Malcolm Brogdon, he let a lot of people down. He was priced up a little bit at 5.1K. 32 minutes he played. He had 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists. Pretty good game from him. 1 steal and 1 block as well to go with that. Mirza Teletovic only played 15 minutes, but he had 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not a great game from him. We didn't really see too much off of the Milwaukee side. We saw Greg Monroe for 27 minutes, and he did score 15 and 7 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, I went on record yesterday saying this was going to be a blowout. Oh, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout. And it really wasn't. I was wrong about that. This game was not a blowout. The New Orleans Pelicans were in this game from the very beginning. And that, me with the thinking it was going to be a blowout, really lessened my exposure to probably one of the best plays on the slate. And that is definitely Drew Holiday, man. He 11 points, 4 rebounds, 13 assists, and 3 steals in 35 minutes. An excellent game we saw from Drew Holiday. The ownership on him was about 17%, so a lot of you are on him. I just was not on him. Anthony Davis had 20 and 17 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal and 3 blocks. Pretty decent game, but not that Anthony Davis game that we wanted. I didn't think we were going to see it anyway. We also saw a nice game from Buddy Hield, man. This dude finally proved he belongs in the NBA. 35 minutes. He had 20 points and 5 rebounds to go with 2 assists on the Cleveland side. Now, we didn't see much Kevin Love. Food poisoning or something like that took him out of the game. But in his 24 minutes, he had 12 and 11 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. And he was really on track to have a really nice game. We were very lucky. Those of us that didn't roster Kevin Love, we were lucky that he definitely went out of the game. LeBron James had 26 and 7 to go with 6 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Pretty decent game from him, but just not that LeBron game that we wanted. Channing Frye was a pleasant surprise in his 25 minutes. He had 14 points and 6 boards to go with 2 blocks. Kate Felder, we talked about him already, 12 and 1 to go with 2 assists. And also Richard Jefferson had 12 points and 12 boards, 2 assists. Pretty nice game we saw from him. And that came on the heels of Kevin Love not returning in the second half. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Brooklyn Nets at home against the Utah Jazz. Man, the Jazz really had a great game, man. For once, you could have stacked the Jazz, and that doesn't happen very often because usually the pace is slow, the point totals are low, and this one wasn't really a high point total. It was about 190 points scored total between the two teams, but it was somewhat of a blowout. And we saw Gordon Hayward for 34 minutes. He had 30 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Pretty nice game from him. Rudy Gobert went up and came down with 16 boards, 15 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Really nice game we saw from Rudy Gobert. Rodney Hood chipped in 15 and 3 with an assist in his 27 minutes. And Shelvin Mack, he played 31 minutes because we didn't see George Hill, we didn't see Dante Exum, and he had 15 points to go with 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and 3 steals. Pretty nice game we saw from him. Derek Favors, he only played 18 minutes, went out of the game, and then he did return. He's got to get his injury situation together before we can roster him with confidence, man. He's not healthy. He's not healthy at all. On the Brooklyn side, probably the best play in this game is somebody who was in one of the perfect lineups was Trevor Booker. We talked about him in the revenge narrative, and he had 15 boards, 17 points, 2 assists in his 34 minutes. That was a really nice game we saw from him. Isaiah Whitehead, man, had 12 points and 6 boards to go with an assist in his 30 minutes. And Brook Lopez shat the bed. We talked about this. I'm not rostering centers against Rudy Gobert. I'm just not going to do it. There's no reason, especially on an 8-game slate. Why would you pick on Rudy Gobert? There's no point to that. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, 14 minutes. He had 11 points and 1 rebound to go with an assist. And we didn't really see too much else from the Brooklyn side. The next game we're going to talk about is my New York Knicks at MSG. Take it on the Orlando Magic. We got beat down again. Aaron Gordon, man, on the Orlando side, 22 points, 6 boards, 1 steal. Nice game we saw from him. He scored 41 DraftKings points. That was an excellent game. Serge Ibaka, 22 and 6 in his 31 minutes. Not a great game from him. We also saw a really nice game from Jody Meeks. Now, he was the value player that opened up once we knew that Evan Fournier wasn't going to be playing. In 31 minutes, he had 23 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. When this dude is shooting, his shot is just fucking on, bro. And this dude hit 6 threes, 6 of 7 from 3-point. Jody Meeks is a great shooter. Nikolai Vucevic off of the bench in 31 minutes had 14 and 13 to go with 5 assists and 2 steals. We also saw another nice game from Elfrid Payton. He had 13 and 3 rebounds to go with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block while shooting 50% from the field. On the New York Knicks side, we knew we weren't going to see Kristaps Porzingis. He was definitely scratched from the game. We knew that earlier in the day. But we did see a fairly decent game from Carmelo Anthony. He had 19 points and 7 boards to go with 3 assists 3 steals, and 1 block. And I really couldn't get him in just because I had so much Jimmy Butler. I just didn't want to mess with Carmelo Anthony, even though he was in a really nice matchup with Porzingis out of the game. Joakim Noah was the play that I went to in this game. He had 8 points and 10 boards to go with 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in his 32 minutes. That was a nice game out from him. We also saw Derrick Rose for 28 minutes. He had 18 points and 3 rebounds to go with 4 assists. Brandon Jennings chipped in 12 and 3 to go with 4 assists in 23 minutes. Not much else to speak of on the New York Knicks side of the ball. The next game is probably going to be the game that we had a lot invested in. In this game, we had a lot invested in this game, in the Chicago Bulls, because we found out that Dwayne Wade was going to be out, which totally brought up the ownership on Jimmy Butler. Also put people like Nikolai Mirotic, put Dougie McBuckets in play. These guys shut the bed. They didn't do shit, and there was no point to roster them guys. But we just went to the value, and we tried to do the best we could. But we saw a nice game on the Charlotte side from Kemba Walker. He had 34 points to go with 11 rebounds and 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He shot 68% from the field, hit 6 of 8 threes. That is not going to happen a lot, especially away from the Beehive. But Kemba, we love you. That was a great game from you. We also saw a really nice game from Nick Batum. He had 19 and 6 rebounds to go with 5 assists and 1 steal. Frank Kaminsky was another value play that opened up once we learned that we weren't going to be seeing Cody Zeller. And in his 20 minutes, he had 6 and 3 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. And the funny thing is, I had my sights set on Jeremy Lamb the whole time, especially when I knew Marco Bellinelli wasn't going to be playing. But when all of the value opens up, I jump on Frank Kaminsky, and because he's 400 cheaper than Jeremy Lamb, and Jeremy Lamb just has a nice game, 15 and 6 to go with 3 boards, 1 steal. Nice game we saw from Jeremy Lamb. On the Chicago side, this is where the heat check player tonight lived. He had an excellent game, 52 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Shot 62% from the field, hit 1 of 4 3-pointers, hit 95% of his free throws, 21 for 22 from free throw, because he went to the basket repeatedly, nonstop. We saw a nice game from Jimmy Buckets. Michael Carter Williams almost doubled in his 30 minutes. He had 10 and 9 to go with 3 assists and 1 block. Nice game from him. Nikolai Mirotic was third on the team in scoring. He had 12 points and 2 rebounds to go with 2 steals and 2 blocks. Decent game we saw from him. And Dougie McBuckets, the value play of the day, had 11 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist in his 30 minutes. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Houston Rockets at home against the Washington Wizards. I really thought that this was going to be a way more high-scoring game, but we didn't see a lot of great shooting from guys on this team, man. We did not. Starting on the Washington side, Brad Beal, who wasn't supposed to play, we thought that we weren't going to see Brad Beal. He goes out and he scores. He leads the team in scoring 27 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals in his 35 minutes. Really nice game from him. We saw a pretty decent game from Markieff Morris, 12 and 8 to go with 3 assists and a block. And John Wall did double-double. He didn't really have that John Wall game we want to see, but he had 18 points to go with 12 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals in his 37 minutes. Not much else we saw from the Washington side, but on the Houston side, Patrick Beverley being out opened up so many things in this game. We saw a triple-double from James Harden, 23 and 10 to go with 10 assists, 3 steals. But off of the bench was what really did it. Eric Gordon dropped 31 in 36 minutes. He had 2 rebounds and 3 assists and a block in his 36 minutes. He shot 61% from the field, 6 of 12 from 3-point. Pretty good game we saw from Eric Gordon. Montrezl Harrell fell 1 board shy of that double-double bonus we like. He had 14 and 9 to go with an assist and 2 blocks. And Trevor Ariza, in his 43 minutes, which led the team, had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Nice game we saw from Trevor Ariza. The next game I'm going to talk about is the LA Clippers at home against the Phoenix Suns. This was a really good game. We saw excellent performance on the Phoenix side of the ball from Eric Bledsoe. We talked about this earlier. He was on triple-double watch. He had 22 points, 8 boards, and 9 assists to go with 3 steals. He shot 29% from the field. 29%. 8 of 27 shooting. So if this dude has his regular 44% shooting game, we win all the money's fucking with him. But, hey, we did good. Nonetheless, Pretty good game we saw from Eric Bledsoe. He was 1 for 5 from 3. Not that great at all. PJ Tucker, in his 35 minutes off of the bench, had 6 points and 12 boards to go with 2 steals. Pretty nice game from him. TJ Warren finally woke up and had a nice game. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Shot 60% from the field, played 41 minutes. TJ Warren might be back, ladies and gentlemen. This was against Luke Richard Bamute, who's a pretty decent defender. So he had a really nice game out. Alex Len had 10 and 7 to go with a steal in his 20 minutes. Not much else to speak about on the Phoenix side as far as the LA Clippers go. We saw a nice game from DeAndre Jordan, man. He fell 1 point shy of that double-double bonus. He had a big rebounding day. 20 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, and 9 points. Nice game from him. JJ Redick shot pretty hot in this game. He had 22 and 4, and nothing else from him. Raymond Felton had 16 points, 4 boards, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks in his 36 minutes. That was a nice game from him, but he also didn't shoot very well. Shot 38% from the field. If he has a good shooting percentage from the field, he scores way more points. Jamal Crawford chipped in 18 and 7 to go with 5 assists and 1 block in his 30 minutes, and Mo Spates had 9 and 6 to go with 2 blocks in 17 minutes. The last game on the slate is the Golden State Warriors at home against the Denver Nuggets. Now, if you watched last night's show, we talked some about if this game was going to blow out, and I didn't think at all this game was going to blow out for 2 reasons. Number one, with Kevin Durant as the leader of this team, he's a soft motherfucker. I mean, he has an awesome game. I really like Kevin Durant's game, but he's soft as shit. This team lost that bully edge they had. Yeah, the dude's a light skin, but Draymond Green made them a tough ass Detroit, Michigan, blue collar, fit Ford Field, back in the day, Detroit Motown sound. He made them tough as fuck. And now that Kevin Durant has stepped in like as the forefront, the major player on the team is soft as shit. So they play to the level. At second point, they play to the level of the competition. If they just don't blow out teams they're supposed to blow out. And that's just what they do. So I didn't think this game was going to be blowout from the first time I saw it. On the Denver side of the ball, we saw a really nice game from the homie. Danilo Gallinari had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. And Mike Malone is a dick because this dude didn't play but 2 or 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, and he could have been out there wrecking shop, keeping the game a little bit closer. Wilson Chandler in his 37 minutes had 21 and 4 to go with with 2 assists and 2 steals and a block. Pretty nice game from him. Nikola Jokic kind of proved himself. This dude is for real, man. 24 minutes is all we saw from him. I don't know why. He had 21 points, 13 boards, and 5 assists to go with 1 steal. This dude played not half a game and did all this in half a game. We saw the rest of the time being monopolized by Yusuf Nurkic. He got back into the coach's good graces, and in 21 minutes he had 15 and 6 to go with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty decent game for his price point, if I might add. The Golden State side of the ball, the only guy that I really liked on the Golden State side would be the 2 guys that play in blowouts, even no matter what these guys are on the court. That's Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. Draymond got a triple-double in 36 minutes. He had 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists. Pretty nice game from him. Klay Thompson, in his 37 minutes, he led the team in scoring. He had 25 points and 5 rebounds with 1 assist and 1 block. We saw a mediocre game from Steph Curry. We didn't need to see much from him. He had 22 and 3 to go with 5 assists. And Kevin Durant, in his 34 minutes, had 21 points and 3 boards to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. We also saw a really decent game from Zaza Pachulia. He fell 1 board shy of that double-double bonus. He had 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist. Now that we have recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into a quick player pricing analysis. This is where we try to develop. This is the beginning blocks of developing our core of players. Because what we want to do is we want to see what everybody's price is. And that feels like I haven't rostered Boogie in quite some time. The last time he played, it wasn't on the main slate, so I didn't get a chance to get Boogie in my lineup. So we're going to check him out tomorrow night. Okay? So the highest salaried player we can see on this slate is, of course, going to be DeMarcus Cousins at 11.4K going to Denver. DVP out the window is 7th ranked against power forwards, center, whatever. Throw it out the window. I like Boogie tomorrow. John Wall against Dallas is definitely in play at 10.6, even though they are the 4th ranked team against point guards. Karl Anthony Towns at 9.9 is in play for me. I kind of like that. Kawhi Leonard at 8.5. We just haven't been seeing the minutes from Kawhi Leonard, and I think he's really not as healthy as we need him to be to return value night in and night out. So I don't really like Kawhi Leonard tomorrow. Kyle Lowry against San Antonio, on the other hand, at 8.4K, I think that he is in play for me because the San Antonio perimeter is not very good defensively. So I do like Kyle Lowry some tomorrow. Marc Gasol is going to be questionable, but if he does play, he is in play at 8.4. I like him. DeMar DeRozan at 8.1 going up against Danny Green defense. The DVP makes it look good, but I just don't like him tomorrow. I don't like DeMar DeRozan. The price is still a little bit up on him, and he just doesn't do enough peripherally for me to roster him with confidence, especially in the 8-game slate where I know I can find somebody that's a little bit cheaper that's going to do more. Somebody like Gordon Hayward against the Boston Celtics. Now, we can attack Boston rebounding. 8K flat for him. Nice play, I think, Gordon Hayward is. Hassan Whiteside, he was out the last time out. He may be playing. We're going to have to check on that. Paul George in another good spot against Detroit Pistons, 7.9K. He kind of shit the bed the last time out. So I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him, but I kind of like him as a play. Eric Bledsoe, 7.7, second leg of a back-to-back against the Miami defense. If Goran Dragic plays, I don't really like him too much, but this is the 7th-ranked team against point guard. So we're going to want to make sure that if Dragic isn't playing, I kind of like Eric Bledsoe tomorrow. LaMarcus Aldridge, I think he's made a kind of a turnaround, but at 7.6K, I don't think I like him very much tomorrow. I do not roster Joel Embiid at 7.5 with minutes restrictions. I just don't roster guys at minutes restrictions. I don't like that. Isaiah Thomas at 7.4. If there's anybody that can beat a DVP, it's going to be Isaiah Thomas. But Utah plays such a slow pace that I just don't think that I can roster Isaiah Thomas, all over the place. I may have him in the lineup or two just because the talent is there. And you're not going to see George Hill. He's probably going to see Shelvin Mack. I'm going to have him in some spots, just not in a lot. Rudy Gobert is definitely in play. We talked about this already. We're attacking Boston, rebounding the ball. They are 14th ranked against the center position. 7.3K is a nice price for Rudy Gobert. Even dropped 100 from today, so I like Rudy Gobert. Andre Drummond is a really good play for me at 7.3. He's a rebounding monster. I like him tomorrow. Andrew Wiggins is in play at 7.2. I like him. Jeff Teague is questionable. He may not be playing tomorrow. We need to check on that. If he is, I still don't like him against Reggie Jackson. Goran Dragic, if he plays, I like him at 7K. Nikola Jokic is definitely in play at 6.9. That's shaped up to be a player I really like already. Harrison Barnes is in play at 6.7, going up against Otto Porter. Brad Beal, of course, is going to be in play at 6.6, but the back-to-back, they might rest him, so we want to watch out for that. Zach LaVine at 6.6 is not a play I like very much. Miles Turner, I like him because we can attack. Even though this is the 10th ranked team against centers, we can attack Drummond. We can definitely attack Drummond. So I like Miles Turner tomorrow. Martin Gortat is going to be in play for me at 6.5. We can attack Dallas rebounding the ball. I don't care what the DVP says. Mike Conley is in play against the LA Lakers without a doubt at 6.5 if he does play. George Hill probably going to be out tomorrow. Julius Randle is in play at 6.4. Otto Porter is in play at 6.3. I don't like Devin Booker tomorrow. Al Horford is not a play that I particularly like. I do not like to target centers against Rudy Gobert. I just don't like to do that. That's just setting yourself up for failure. Tobias Harris at 6.2 is not a good play for me tomorrow. Paul Gasol is definitely in play at 6.1. Rudy Gay, if he does play, I like him against Denver at 6K. Reggie Jackson is a really nice play, I believe, going up against either Jeff Teague or Aaron Brooks, maybe starting. I like Reggie Jackson tomorrow. Josh Richardson, if he does get a start, he is playable. I like him tomorrow. Avery Bradley is a no. Danilo Gallinari, of course, is in play at 5.9 on the back-to-back. Darren Williams is questionable, but I think he does get the start tomorrow at 5.8. I kind of like him tomorrow. Ricky Rubio is a no for me. We've seen Chris Dunn take a lot of minutes from this guy, man. I'm not sure how long he's going to be starting in Minnesota. Gorgie Jang is definitely in play at 5.7. I like him. He's way more physical and active around the basket than Jahlil Okafor, so I do like him tomorrow. Tyler Johnson is in play at 5.7. Wilson Chandler, of course, is in play at 5.6. KCP, Remember, he had a good game out last time, and I told you I like to roster KCP in streaks. He's a very streaky player. I think we can look to KCP tomorrow. Wesley Matthews is in play at 5.6. Zach Randolph, Zebo, of course, I like him at 5.6. Will Barton is a no for me. Uh, Thad Young is definitely a no for me. James Johnson is in play against Phoenix at 5.5. Justice Winslow is a no for me. Dion Waiters might come back. That's going to eat into his minutes when he does get back. D'Angelo Russell at 5.4 with Mike Conley back. I'm not going to take a chance rostering guys, especially a young guy, against Mike Conley. Mike Conley is an excellent defender. This is the first ranked DVP against point guards. I don't like him very much tomorrow. Ersan Ilyasova is in play for me at 5.3. The price has not yet caught up to how good this guy can be. I like him at 5.3 tomorrow. Markieff Morris at 5.2 could be in play. Robert Covington is a no. TJ Warren is not in play for me at 5K against Miami. Tony Allen, yes, I like him at 5K flat. Luol Deng, no. Shelvin Mack, yes, at 4.9, I like him. Jay Crowder is a no for me. Derek Favors is a no for me. Andrew Harrison, only if something happens and we don't see Mike Conley, would I like Andrew Harrison. Lou Williams is on a terrible shooting streak right now. He is not scoring the ball the way he's been. I need that price to come down on him just a little bit. This guy was just 7K a week ago, about a week ago. Now he's 4.9. I need the price to come down some more on him. Rodney Hood is not in play for me at 4.8. John Lewis is most definitely in play at 4.8. I like him tomorrow. Tony Parker can have a good game at 4.8 if he does get the start. Because Pop can rest people. Jonas Valanciunas at 4.8. I like him against Paul Gasol. Now these Euro guys, when they play each other, they play hard. And I think we can definitely look to Jonas Valanciunas tomorrow. Dion Waiters, he's questionable. I think he's going to play tomorrow. I don't like him if he does. Jermichael Green, definitely in play at 4.8. Emmanuel Mudiay, I like him at 4.7. Gary Harris is definitely at play at 4.7. I like a lot of what Denver is bringing to the table tomorrow. I like this game a lot. The Denver and the Sacramento game, I like them. Sergio Rodriguez is in play at 4.7 if he plays because he's going to see those starting minutes. Or we can look to TJ McConnell if we don't see Sergio Rodriguez. Tyson Chandler is in play at 4.6. Darren Collison, 4.5. Yeah, he's in play for that. Kenneth Faried was out today. He may play tomorrow. They might have rested him just so they can get him on the second part of that back-to-back. If they do, now this is going to get crazy because Jokic is a defensive liability when it comes to fouls. He's a very aggressive defender, and he's not a very good defender. So you put the two together, and you get foul trouble. Now, if you think that's going to be the case, Kenneth Faried is somebody that you can look to if he does play tomorrow. Jaleel Okafor, questionable. He's a no for me at 4.5. Marcus Smart is a no for me. TJ McConnell, of course, we talked about that. If we don't see Sergio Rodriguez, we can look to TJ McConnell, 4.3. He did make value last time out. Jordan Clarkson is a no. Matt Barnes, if we don't see Rudy Gay, he's definitely in play at 4.2. Marcus Morris is a player I like. The price is so low on him right now. He's 4.2. I like Marcus Morris tomorrow against the Indiana Pacers. We haven't been seeing, that classic Paul George defense that we really liked the first few years of his career. He's not been a very good defender as of late. Seth Curry Lobreau's not in play for me. Dario Saric is in play at 4.2. Brandon Knight, of course, is not a player that I would like. Dirk Nowitzki is still in limited minutes. We don't be going there. Wayne Ellington probably will not be in the starting rotation tomorrow if we get Dion Waiters back. Nick Young, Swaggy P, 4.1. I mean, for a guy that can shoot the ball that well, you kind of got to take a look at him at home. Because when he's in LA and he's comfortable, he knocks that shit down. So you got to take a look at Swaggy P at 4.1. Joe Ingles is not in play for me. Ty Lawson. Now, if he is questionable, if he doesn't play, that automatically puts Darren Collison in play. And he likes to hit the chicks, so we don't roster him very much. But if Ty Lawson doesn't play, you gotta like Darren Collison. So JJ Barea is gonna be out. Norman Powell's a no. Manu Ginobili, he's in play at 4K. Kelly Oubre Jr. is a no. Dwight Powell is a no for me. Nerlens, 3.9K against Minnesota. Excuse me. 3.9K against Minnesota. You got to give Nerlens a look. The price is too cheap, and he's a really good rebounder and shot blocker, overall defender in the low post. Danny Green at 3.9 is in play for me lightly. if we don't see Hassan Whiteside again, he's going to be one of the bigger value plays on the day at 3.9. Amir Johnson is a no for me. Rashawn Holmes is going to be questionable. Jonathan Simmons. Let's see if we can find a cheap Garrett Temple at 3.6 is in play if we don't see Ty Lawson tomorrow. That's going to increase minutes, I think, for him. DeMar Carroll's a no. David Lee's a no. Sauce here is a no for me. Bogut, if he does play, he is in play at 3.6. That's a very low price on Andrew Bogut. I like him if he does play tomorrow as a value play. Costa Kufas at 3.5, no. Corey Joseph, no. Dwayne Dedman, no. James Ennis, Trey Lyles, 3.4. Now, this is another way that we can attack Boston's rebounding for the cheap, especially if we hear something that we're not going to see Derek Favors a lot tomorrow. So, now that we've gone through the player pricing, let's go ahead and jump to the point totals very quickly. That way we can get a better idea of who and what and where we are going to invest in the tournaments tomorrow. Let's go ahead and jump into that. The first game we're going to talk about is the Philadelphia 76ers at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is a 203.5 point total, which is not bad. The Philadelphia 76ers are getting 4 points, so they are a home dog. Anytime you got a home dog, I think that lends itself to really, really believing that the home team is going to be able to play well. Guys play with a sense of pride at home. And I think we can look to a couple of guys on the Philadelphia side to really make value. I like Ersan Ilyasova from the Philadelphia side. I like whoever's starting at point guard against Ricky Rubio if he does get the start. I also think that you can roster Joel Embiid if you're okay with that minutes limit thing. I'm just not doing it because there's gonna come. I'll tilt too hard if Joel Embiid played 29 minutes and they sit him down and it's a 2-point game with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter and we don't see Joel Embiid just because he's on a minutes restriction. Fuck that, man. Let the dude play. That's why I'm not going to be rostering him tomorrow. On the Minnesota side, and I think we can look to Andrew Wiggins. I like him. Zach LaVine is probably in a decent spot, although I won't have much of him because either I pick one or the other, either Zach or Andrew. I really take both of them because they really have good games at the same time, and I think tomorrow we might see a better showing from Andrew Wiggins than we would from Zach LaVine. Well, and then think about that because Robert Covington is a really good defender, and then Gerald Henderson, who is not playing, LaVine's gonna be seeing some guys from the second team too. I might like Zach LaVine more. We're gonna look at that a little bit closely, but I do like Karl Anthony Towns. We've got to look at Shabazz Muhammad. He's been playing very well off of the bench, and this game could get out of hand. It could. There's a chance it could. So we might get some scrub love on the Minnesota side with Chris Dunn and or Shabazz Muhammad. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Utah Jazz on the second leg of a back-to-back going to Boston to take on the Celtics. Now remember, this is the week of 8-game slate. We've got an 8, 8, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, right? So we're going to see a few back-to-backs on this week. So Utah, first thing jumps out to me is Rudy Gobert. I love Rudy Gobert. It jumps out to me automatically because I really think he can have his way rebounding the basketball, getting those blocks, just playing a really good defensive game and also scoring the ball too. So I like Rudy Gobert tomorrow. I think we can also look to Gordon Hayward. I like him tomorrow. He's a pretty decent rebounder at the small forward position. Shelvin Mack is in play because let's just face it, while we know that Isaiah Thomas is a very good ball player, he's not a good defender. He just tries to stay in front of people. He's too small to really defend. And Shelvin Mack is very scrappy, a little scrappy point guard. I think that he can have a decent game at his price point. Will that be enough to roster him? I don't know. I got to look a little more closely, but I do like him tomorrow if we don't see George Hill. If we see George Hill, I love George Hill. I do. To continue, we can definitely, on the Boston side, look to Isaiah Thomas tomorrow. I like him. I think he can be a really decent play. I'm not going to have him in a ton of spots just because this team is very good against point guards and the pace is slow. But if anybody can beat the DVP, man, I think it's going to be Isaiah Thomas tomorrow. Al Horford is not in play for me. Actually, nobody on the Boston side is going to be in play for me except for Isaiah Thomas in some spots. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Indiana Pacers going to Detroit to take on the Pistons. This is a 202.5 point total, with the Detroit Pistons giving up 4.5 points. They are the home favorite. I love Reggie Jackson in this game. I think he's going to be a nice play. We can also go to Andre Drummond. I like Marcus Morris. We talked about that already. Even John Lure is in play for me. I like a lot about this game. Even though it's a low point total, I do like a lot about this game. I think if I'm cherry picking, man, I can grab a couple guys off of this roster and do really well. On the Indiana side, if Jeff T plays, I guess he's in play for some people, but I won't be taking a chance on him tomorrow. Coming off an injury and then playing one of the better teams in the league against point guards who also play at a very slow pace, I don't think I'm going to be buying in on Jeff T tomorrow. Paul George is a very interesting play just because I know he's got that upper echelon elite talent, and the fact that he's not been playing very well as of late, people are going to be off him. So I will be giving him consideration tomorrow. I like Miles Turner going up against going up against uh, the Detroit center. I do like him going up against Andre Drummond. I think that can be a really good play. I don't like Thad Young, and you know, if you follow the show, I'm a Thad Young supporter. I just don't like him very much tomorrow, banging down low. I don't like him very much. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Washington Wizards going to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. There is not yet a point total released for this game because we do have a few injuries on the Dallas side. Of course, you know, Dirk Nowitzki is coming off of that injury. He's going to be on a low minutes limit. Andrew Bogut was coming off of one, but he should be playing tomorrow. And Darren Williams is questionable at the moment. On the Washington side, of course, Ian Mahinmi is out. You know that Brad Beal was dealing with his situation. They may sit him for rest in the back-to-back. We need to check up on that. But I like John Wall in this game. I think Gord Todd is a decent play. You can look to Otto Porter some. Tonight's snowflake of the night. On the Dallas side, Harrison Barnes is going to be in play for me. If Darren Williams plays and he's healthy, he's going to get a full allotment of minutes. He is in play for me. If not, and we see somebody like Devin Harris start or Lil Brel, Steph Curry start, I think they're playable as well. Like Andrew Bogut, the price on him is just too cheap. He's 3.6K for a starting center going up against Martin Gortat. I think that'll be a decent play because Gortat is going to play 30 some odd minutes. That's just what they've been doing right now because they have so many injuries in the front court. So I do like Andrew Bogut tomorrow for the cheap. The next game we're going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs at home against the Toronto Raptors. This is surprisingly a high point total for the San Antonio Spurs, one of the slower, low-paced teams. 211.5 points is the total, with the San Antonio Spurs giving up 5.5. They are the home favorite. Normally, I'm like, yo, I just don't roster guys against San Antonio. But this year hasn't been like that. This year hasn't proven to be like the team you avoid teams when they play San Antonio. And if there's any couple guys, any tandem, I think that can have decent games, and maybe one of them really having a great game, it's going to be the Toronto Raptors, man. I really can see Kyle Lowry having a nice game with a day of rest going up against either Patty Mills or Tony Parker if he gets to start. I like him. And then we talking about, again, this is a guy that leads the NBA in minutes played. This dude is a usage monster. Like, he always on the floor. He's the last starter off, and he's the first one back in when the second team is shitting the brick. So I really think Kyle Lowry can be a decent play on tomorrow. Will I have him everywhere? Probably not, but I do like him in some spots going up against the San Antonio perimeter defense. We talked about Jonas Valanciunas, who I kind of like a little bit tomorrow, and Paul Gasol. These Euros, man, when they get together, they play well against each other. So I like both of them tomorrow. LaMarcus Aldridge, not so much. He's been on a really nice scoring tear lately, so if you roster him, I wouldn't be mad with you. But I don't think I'm going to have him at very many spots tomorrow. The next play is probably going to be my favorite game on the slate, the next game, and it's going to be the Sacramento Kings going to Denver to take on the Nuggets. There's a few injuries on the Sacramento side that is keeping a point total from being released. We talked already about Ty Lawson. We talked about Rudy Gay being questionable. These are guys that I do like if they play. But I love Boogie tomorrow. I think Boogie's going to be a really nice play. And the highest price guy on the slate is not 13,000. Finally, we get to, decide early in the day if we want to play Boogie or not. We can just decide that. And I think I'm going to decide to play him in quite a few spots. Nikola Jokic is going to be on the other side of the ball, who I definitely like tomorrow. Of course, there's that foul trouble issue, but when a guy is that talented and the price is where it is on him, you've got to give him a look. You just got to give him a look. I like Gary Harris in this game. I think that Danilo Gallinari is going to be a really good play, as well as Wilson Chandler. This is a stackable game right here. This is a stackable game. I'm gonna make a game. I'm gonna make a couple of lineups using maybe the turbo or the late slates, wherever this game is, and I'm gonna make a few lines, and I'm gonna throw one or two in the main slate. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow because I like this game a lot, and I don't think that you're gonna get you're gonna get the full exposure to this game playing on the main as you would playing in the turbo or on the later. So I do like this game a lot. I like this game a lot, especially if really great plays. Next game I'm gonna talk about is the Miami Heat going to Phoenix to take on the Suns. Of course, we've got the slew of Miami injuries that were keeping this point total from being released. Uh, last time they rolled a D-League team out there last time. Why didn't they start Tyler Johnson? They had Josh Richardson and a bunch of D-League players. Like, just start Tyler fucking Johnson, bro. Put him out there. Goran Dragic is probably going to be playing in this game. We may not see Hassan Whiteside. If that's the case, you've got to like the Willie Reed kid. He's pretty decent around the basket, scoring the ball, and also getting a lot of rebounds. I think we can definitely look to Josh Richardson in this game. And I also like I would take a shot on Tyler Johnson. I don't like Dion Waiters. I don't like rostering guys one game back off of injury. I need to see how well they move it and see if everything is cool, especially if it's an injury that was below the waist. The Phoenix side, I think Bledsoe can be a decent play if we don't see Whiteside. If we don't see Whiteside and we don't see, let's say they roll out that same bullshit D-League team they rolled out last time. Bledsoe, fire him up. Fire him up. If that's the case, fire him up. Now, I also like off of the bench, I think that we can look to, on the Phoenix side, I think we can look to PJ Tucker as well as Brandon Knight. They've been getting a ton of minutes off of the bench, especially PJ Tucker. But I like Brandon Knight tomorrow as well. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies. This is the last game on the slate. This is the Memphis Grizzlies going to the LA Lakers. Now, I don't know if you think you're going to get your late night hammers from here. The only two guys that I would really roster from this game, period, is, three. The only three guys I roster from this game, period, on both sides of the ball is Mike Conley, JaMychal Green, Zebo, and maybe, if he's healthy, Marc Gasol. This is going to be a massacre. They're going to beat them. They're going to beat them in LA. Now, we talked earlier about Swaggy P. He deserves consideration just because of how well he can shoot the ball. And it's kind of hard to defend a guy that's just going to pull up and jack up and chuck every time down the court. And if his shot is on, man, he can definitely make value for you. The price is still down, 4.1K. I think I'd throw him in a lineup. I definitely would. I'd throw Swaggy P in a lineup. Everybody else, I'm not fucking with him. Even Randall. I don't like nobody from the Lakers side except small amounts of Nick Young. But I do like a lot about the Memphis side of the ball. So, this has been your DFS Jerusalem. I want to thank you again, man, everybody who has been supporting the DFS Sweatshop. Remember, this is a grassroots movement to take our money back from the Sharks. We're going in. And we do this every day. I'll be here every day with y'all, man. And I thank y'all so much for the support that you've been giving me so far. If you would like to support the show even further, there's many ways you can do so. First, realize and understand this is the most perfect, the purest way you can support the show by giving me a voice here on YouTube. But if you wanted to support the show further, you can look to the left or the right, whichever one. There's going to be a little box that says support the show. Click the box. Let it take you where it needs to take you to support the show. You can also copy some DFS Sweatshop swag. If you find yourself a lot around the 300 Club, you're going to have to rock the gear to go with it. That's going to be in the link to the description to the link right here. You can also hit my personal PayPal up to SimmonsMaurice95 at yahoo.com. And if you wanted to become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, all you got to do is very simple. Go to www.dfssweatshop.com. Go ahead and log in, register there. There you're going to see our cheat sheets, our DVPs, our rankings, our proven Core 4 roster building strategy, as well as my Core 4 plays each day. Now, you don't have to always roll with my core. The whole point to this is to help the newer guys start their lineups. Now, you can use them. You definitely can use them. Like, that's why I put them out there. But I just want to be able to give you that transparency to see that the guys I'm talking about are the guys I'm playing. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. This is the DFS Sweatshop. Thank you. I love y'all. And the one thing that we got to do, we did it all night tonight. Guess what we did? You know what we did? We kept it 300.